Imagine moving into your dream home, only to find your creepy neighbor is secretly siphoning your water and leeching off your utilities. What would you do? Call the cops? Knock on his door? Nope. I did something much better. I turned a tap and burned his entire life down. If you've ever been underestimated, taken advantage of, or just wanted sweet, clean justice, you're going to love this story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and settle in, because this revenge didn't just cost him his pride, it cost him everything. Let's rewind a few weeks. I just bought my first house, a fixer-upper in the heart of the capital city, right in Asia's pulsing core. The kind of place you grab if you got guts and vision. The sellers were old family friends, desperate for cash, and hadn't even set foot in the country for 3 years. That meant I got it dirt cheap. But you know what comes with a cheap house in the city? Luggage. And I don't mean leftover boxes. I mean people, history, secrets. The place was half renovated, locked with nothing but a rusty padlock, and wide open with no gate. My first day moving in, some random guy's motorcycle was parked in my garage like it was public property. I rolled onto the road, had a steel gate installed that same day, and sure enough, later that evening, a man came banging on my new gate. He didn't even try to be civil, just kept knocking, angry and impatient. I watched from behind the window, heart pounding, but face calm. After 15 minutes of him not getting his way, he gave up and wheeled his bike away. 1 point for me, but I was already getting a taste of the neighborhood. Let's just say it wasn't the warmest welcome. The next few days were relatively quiet, except for the occasional parking intruder blocking my gate. A bold, "No parking" sign fixed that quickly. I thought maybe the worst was behind me. Oh, how wrong I was. The suspicion builds. One humid evening, about a week later, I was in the middle of a shower when something felt off. The water pressure dipped, like, noticeably. Now, I'm the kind of guy who pays attention to detail, and this wasn't just a plumbing issue. I also happened to hear something faint but distinct. The low mechanical whir of a water pump next door. My neighbor, an old, grizzled man in his 70s, lives in the 3-story house beside mine. He occupies the ground floor and rents out the other 2. I knew from my friends, the previous owners, that he wasn't happy about the sale. In fact, he was furious. He'd even confronted them before they left the country. They'd warned me about him. But hey, I'm a 6-foot guy with 3 dogs. I figured he'd keep his distance. Turns out, he didn't need to come near me to cause trouble. Now, in this part of Asia, houses use a pump system to draw public water to roof tanks. And when that pump kicks in, it should be pulling water from the owner's own supply. But something told me this wasn't just coincidence. So I waited. I heard the pump switch off and turn on the tap. Water pressure? Normal. Strong. Next day, pump on? My pressure drops. Pump off? Pressure returns. That's when it hit me. The old man was stealing water from my lines. The cold realization. Suddenly, everything made sense. Even when the house was abandoned, the water bills were weirdly high. Everyone just assumed it was from leaks and old plumbing. But now I knew the truth. This man had casually walked onto an abandoned property, found a line and tapped into it. Entitled, shameless, sneaky, and what's worse, water in my country is dirt cheap, like $5 a month cheap. He could have easily paid for his own supply. But no, he chose theft. Because in his mind, he was entitled. He didn't like that someone new had taken over his turf. So he decided to get back at me. Quietly, illegally. And that's where I hit my breaking point. The plan. Simple, legal, devastating. Now, I could have confronted him. But what would that do? Give him a chance to deny it? To cover his tracks? To retaliate? No, I wanted something better. I wanted poetic justice. So I did something brilliantly simple. I turned off the main water supply to my house. That's it. Just one valve. Click. And then I waited. The genius of the trap. Let me explain how this works. Water pumps here are automated. They rely on a ball valve inside the roof tank. When water drops below a certain level, the valve opens, triggering the pump to refill it. But if no water comes in, because I shut it off. The pump keeps running, desperately trying to draw water that isn't there. Eventually, it overheats, or worse, it shorts the wiring, which is exactly what happened. What I didn't anticipate was how ancient and unsafe his home's wiring was. Turns out his house still used 1990-style electrical circuits. That night, at 3 a.m., I woke to hushed voices, panicked whispers, then shouting. His tenants were freaking out. No water, no power, and unlike the old man, they had rights. See, in our country, power and water are protected essentials. If a landlord fails to provide them due to negligence, tenants can go straight to the police, which is exactly what they did. The fallout: one tenant moved out within 48 hours. Both filed police complaints. The old man slapped with a $500 fine on the spot. That's a lot in our economy. On top of that, he had to refund both tenant security deposits. And the kicker? He couldn't rent out the units again until the wiring was redone and the water system repaired, all out of pocket. The tenants were his only income. He's a retired mechanic. No job, no savings. So what does he do? He packs up and moves in with his daughter across town, completely defeated. The best part? A few days later, he shuffled over my gate. I could see the shame in his eyes. Even though his face was stone cold, he asked, almost sheepishly, "Did you turn off your water this week?" I smiled as calmly as I could and said, "Oh, yeah, there was a small leak in one of my pipes. Had to turn it off till the plumber could come by." He blinked, forced a smile, and nodded. Okay." And then he walked away. Did he know I knew? Probably. Could he do anything about it? Absolutely not. And that, my friends, is how I ended a parasitic neighbor's scheme, fried his utilities, and got him kicked out of his own home, without even stepping onto his property. 2 birds, 1 valve, 0 regrets. In the end, he didn't just lose water. He lost power, literally and metaphorically. The man who once felt entitled to take from others now has to live under someone else's roof. He burned his bridges, lost his tenants, and got slapped by the law, all because I turned 1 valve. That's the thing about silent revenge. It hits harder, because they never see it coming, and they can never prove it happened. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It's not violent. It doesn't scream. It whispers, it waits. And when it hits, it takes everything they thought they were entitled to. If that story gave you chills, smash that like button and drop a comment below. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or done? And don't forget to subscribe for more Reddit stories where karma gets served ice cold.